it's apple season, so we're gonna take a look at some peelers.
So we have different peelers here. We actually have a manual peeler. We have like a contraption peeling of some kind, machine thing. And then we have my favorite, the automatic peeler, the Rotato Express. Okay, so how are we gonna test these things?
Well, I think we need to get these out of the box, take a look at how they are used, and start peeling some apples.
Seems pretty straightforward. Let's go.
This is smaller than I expected.
Instructions for use of the Rotato. Blade holder, blade head, blade cutter, spike, aptly named, red button. It is labeled red button. They give you suggestions on foods to peel.
Apples is on the list, right?
Apples is on the list.
Good.
All right, so this does actually give me some ideas. I feel like later we should try out some stuff. Your instructions are not quite as long as mine.
They're not, and they're not actually spelled in conventional English either. It can be used widely in office, company, hotel, and family.
1 minute. The red button is a latching button, so do make sure that your latching button is set properly before you plug it in. Important safety tip. Before we look at the machines, we're gonna do one by hand, and by we, of course, I mean Lisa, who can actually do this. And we're gonna time it. This will be our control, so we can see exactly how much faster each of these machines really is. All right, are you ready?
Yes, so I'm using a vegetable peeler, but you could, of course, use a paring knife as well.
All right, ready?
Yes, go.
You're definitely able to make pretty large swaths.
Yes.
By hand, and I think all these machines are much smaller, so it may take them many more rotations.
Pretty good.
So that was about 45 seconds.
All right, so this one comes with a handy dandy suction for the countertop. They also make these with a clamp, so you could screw it onto the side of your counter. But I found that sometimes my counters don't overhang the cabinetry enough to really get the clamp in there and good. So this is the suction cup version. And I'm just gonna attach that to the cabinet there. This little lever will release. It releases the spindle in the middle so that you can pull it back to load the apple. This is the blade that will peel the apple, and this is the blade that will cut and core the apple as it gets pushed through. So what we do is we just find the middle, that core, and push the apple onto the prongs there.
Okay, well that took like 15 seconds.
Much faster at least. So this, has some little bits of peel here, but it did a really good job around the bulk of it. Of course, even my hand-peeled apple had a little at the ends that it couldn't grab onto. These slices are pretty thick.
It sliced them.
It does. It spiral slices the apple.
So you have no choice if you're using this machine.
Yes. It will core it and slice it. Okay, so we figured out later that we can just disengage this spiral cutting blade and just peel using this here. You're lefty, would you like to do this?
Sure.
Hey. It's still got a few little strips, a few little pieces, but overall, a much better job without the resistance of the coring and spiraling blade. So yes, it can be used just to peel. A spiral shape is not a particularly useful application for, say, a cobbler or a pie, but it's easy enough to then just take this, and now we have individual rings. You could continue cutting around, and you would end up with small pieces for perhaps the inside of a pie.
Okay, now last but not least is the Rotato.
I just like the name.
Yeah, it's not, well, to be fair, it's not just the Rotato, it's the Rotato Express.
Ooh.
Yeah, it's when you need to rotate them expressly. So this one, the functions similarly to before. So you have spiky prongs, and you center it on there as best as you reasonably can.
And then this will stabilize the top with that one spike down into the middle.
All right, now we are plugged in. The red button. Here we go. It was also about 15 seconds. Hands-free though, I didn't have to touch it.
Okay, so I mean, it left one little strip of peel here, some at the top and bottom. Pretty common for this type of thing. This is the one that I did by hand. This is the Rotato Express. Of course, you can get a little more by hand, and you may have to do some trimming up on this one. I see that it really dug in a little more here on the Rotato Express. It would need some trimming, I think. It would need some trimming to remove all of the peel.
Yeah, I'm curious. I want to try another one on the Rotato.
Sure.
Maybe it's got, you know, first time
Jitters. I get to push the red button.
Or I will allow you to push the big red button. So it's about the same amount of time, about 15 seconds. Mm-hmm. And,
Oh, it left 40% of that apple unpeeled.
Yeah, it's like it got hung up in this groove here and just kept chewing away.
Just kept chewing away at the apple.
The apple.
Yes, we've got some thick apple rather than peel.
Rather than peel. Rotato, you're letting me down. I thought I had an answer for my laziness.
So one thing I've learned over the years is that the type of apple can make a difference in these peelers. These firm Granny Smith apples are usually do pretty well, but the softer ones like a Red Delicious may not work as well in a mechanical peeler.
All right, so let's try some of those. Ready?
Yes.
Go.
Well, it's splattering apple juice all over me.
So that was about 10 seconds. That was really fast.
Okay, so it's pretty well peeled, although there are some places that didn't quite get caught by the peeler. We have spiralized apple there.
We do.
Very interesting. So you can see that it is taking quite a bit of apple out with it. It took some big chunks out. Those are big grooves to lose on your apple.
Okay, so clearly apples, I would not recommend the Rotato for apples. Now, the name and the box seem to imply potatoes. So let's try potatoes in this bad boy. And I guess we can try them over there in that.
Sure, on the spiralizer.
Spiralizer. Okay, so we have potatoes here. Same deal as the apples. I'm going to put this, try to put it. Okay, well, I've spotted our first problem. All right, so step 1A is we're gonna cut these in half.
Cut them in half, see if we can get them to fit.
Yep, nailed it. It was going really well right up until it came off the tracks and totally destroyed the potato. I mean, I'm guessing the sudden and instantaneous loss of like natural ingredients don't have perfectly sheer faces on them.
That's true.
So I could see where that might not be part of the design here. So do we want to try the...
Yeah, let's try the spiralizer.
Let's give the Rotato a little break. Let it think about what it's done.
All right. Okay. Let's see how this goes. Now this is gonna splatter potato juice all over me.
It's also gonna core and spiralize the potato.
Yes, it takes a little more force to get through.
It handled the blunt edge just
It did
fine.
handle the blunt edge. These slices are
uneven.
Uneven, so we've got some very thick spiral and some very thin here. Uh-oh, it changed the way it felt and it started digging in a little further. It kind of got stuck. So I have a uniquely shaped potato.
Okay, well, I'm disappointed in both of these, actually.
I am too, and I think it has to do with the quality of workmanship here. We've got cheap plastic parts. I was actually, you know, for such a gimmicky thing, I was a little surprised that it did much at all, but it didn't do a fantastic job on anything. And this one, you know, I used to own one of these from a fancy company that did pretty well. And so I'm a little surprised, and I think it may be, I don't know if it's cheap blades or what on this particular model that is making this not work very well.
So both of these were really blown away by just the simple hand peeler.
Yeah.
So I thought if we could figure out a way to make the hand peeler just more efficient, and I think I have an idea on how to do that.
Uh-oh.
All right, so the problem with the hand peeler is just how slow you are to rotate this apple. And so I have a solution. So I have a nice little corer blade here, 1/2 inch. We're gonna go into this and really jam it in there, trying not to cut myself. So now when I, what?
Let's try it.
Okay. Perfect. I feel that I've solved some problems, but I may have created new problems. I think the lack of speed was a problem.
Yeah, I agree.
Well, since we had so much success with an apple, I thought we'd try a potato. Whoa, okay. That's not gonna be good. Boom! Give me another one, give me another one. At a minimum, this is a way to get me to participate in kitchenette prep. We're gonna do an apple again, now that we know what we know. Okay.
Oh my gosh, there's apple everywhere! Oh my gosh!
If you like that, hit thumbs up, hit subscribe if you want to see more kitchen education and maybe kitchen destruction. See you next time.